Good morning. Today's book is Fancy Nancy's Explorer Extraordinaire. Bonjour, everybody. Welcome to our club. Bree and I love to go exploring in the wild. We collect leaves, we watch birds and butterflies, and inspect insects. If you're like us, then you could be an explorer extraordinaire, too. Love, Nancy. Bree and I are the founding members of our club. That means we started it. So far, we are the only members. Freddie and my sister really want to join. We say, maybe. First, they have to prove they are mature enough. Mature is a fancy word for acting grown up. What does an explorer extraordinaire need? A long sleeve shirt and pants so ticks can't get on you. A notebook and pen for writing field notes, a baseball cap or sun hat, camera, binoculars, lace gloves, magnifying glass, glamorous sunglasses, little maracas for when we feel like dancing, Frenchie, Rusty. Just because you're exploring doesn't mean you can't be fancy. Here's the shirt, a notepad and pen. Here's your baseball cap or your sun hat, magnifying glass, lace gloves, that's for dressing up, binoculars so you can see far away, sunglasses so you look gorgeous, maracas so you can dance, and that's Rusty, and that's Frenchie, the doggies. I almost forgot the most important thing. Every club needs a clubhouse. It is absolutely essential. There's the clubhouse. Here is a map of our territory. That's fancy for the places we can go. Rule number 1, we only go exploring in our backyards and Mrs. Devine's house, yard. Our clubhouse, Bree's house, Bree's room and porch, my house, my room, Mrs. Devine's house and porch. These are all the places that they can go exploring. All of them, yeah. Rule number 2, nobody in the club thinks bugs are gross. That's just immature, which is fancy for babyish. First, we look for insects. Insect is the real word for bug. All insects have wings, antennae, and 6 legs. We see an anthill, so we sprinkle some sugar. Voila! Here come the ants. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3, no touching, just looking. Ants live underground in a group called a colony. Freddie wants to help the ants get back home, but that's against club rules. There's the anthills. We see lots of flies. By the garbage cans. They zoom around so fast, Bree couldn't get a picture. There's the flies in the garbage cans. Flies can walk on ceiling because of their sticky pads, which are their pads on their hands, and tiny claws on their feet. Cool. I observed, that's a fancy word for watch, a ladybug on a leaf on a tomato plant. This ladybug has 1 black spot on each wing. Once I saw a ladybug with black wings and red spots. That's cool. Mom says it's good luck if a ladybug lands on you, but club members do not think that's scientifically accurate. Here's the ladybugs down here. I call Katie my Katybug. Katybug, ladybug. My sister is pointing at something. It's a spider. In the web, there is a dead bug. My sister says, yuck! But we explain that this is just a part of nature. Spiders eat insects that are pests like flies. See right there? And there's this is a spider, but I think it's missing some legs, so it looks more like a tick to me. Exploring in the wild makes us very thirsty and hungry, so we need to stop and have refreshments. That's a fancy word for snacks. We do some research now. That means we read about what we've seen. Bree's book says we saw an orb spider. Here's the photo Bree took. Right there. That's an orb spider. Some spiders you really got to watch out for. Rule number 4. Crying is not allowed unless there's a very good reason. My sister and Freddie fight over the last cookie. We tell them if they want to go with us to Mrs. Devine's garden, they better stop. Mrs. Devine's flower garden is full of butterflies. Those are my favorite animals, insects. Bree and I adore butterflies. Butterflies signify that you're free, because they're free. Rule number 5. We never catch butterflies because they are fragile. That's a fancy way of saying they get hurt easily. Many people do not think butterflies are insects because they're so pretty. But guess what? They are insects. All butterflies start from an egg that turns into a caterpillar. A caterpillar spins a cocoon around itself. The scientific name is chrysalis. I think that word is so beautiful and so fancy. And when the chrysalis breaks open, voila, there's a butterfly. So there we go. There's a plain caterpillar, and it built its cocoon, which is the chrysalis, and then out comes a fancy butterfly. And they are so beautiful. Sometimes the zoo has like a butterfly garden. If I ever see one, I'll come and pick y'all up and take you. Yeah. Lookalikes. Is it a butterfly? When butterflies land on something, their wings stay up. You see butterflies during the day. They have colorful wings. Or is it a moth? When a moth lands, its wings stay flat. You see moths much more at night. They like to fly near lights. A lot of moths have plain brown wings, but some moths are colorful. You know what? Grandma just learned something new. I didn't know the wings stayed flat for a moth and the wings stay up. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool that I just learned something. Butterfly hunting ensemble. I went to a butterfly farm once with my grandparents. If you go to one, here's what you should wear. A hat sprayed with a little perfume to attract butterflies. Bright, colorful clothes so the butterflies think you're a giant flower. Just like that. They're so beautiful. Part of Mrs. Devine's garden is full of wildflowers. Wildflowers grow all by themselves without any help from any people. You don't have to buy seeds or anything. Lots of wildflowers have fancy names. Foxglove, Lady Slipper, Forget-Me-Not, Queen Anne's Lace. Look at all those pretty flowers. They're so pretty. These are the Forget-Me-Nots. I love those. Oh no, look what Freddie and my sister did. They picked some flowers without asking. Uh-oh. That is strictly against club rules. Mrs. Devine is not mad, but we are. Neither of them can be in the club. They are not mature enough. See, there's Mrs. Devine. And she doesn't look mad at all, does she? Lunchtime. What's lunchtime? Ooh, food. Yes. My mom takes my sister and Freddie home. We go to Bree's house, and after lunch, we will check the bird feeder in her backyard. Maybe some birds are having their lunch. What makes birds special? Birds are the only animals with feathers. The fancy word for feathers is plume. They also have light, hollow bones. One of the reasons we can't fly is because our bones are too heavy and we don't have wings. Today we see a robin and lots of sparrows. There's a robin. That's a pigeon. And a sparrow. Aren't they pretty? Why do hummingbirds hum? Because they don't know the words. Tee. It starts to drizzle, so we go back to our clubhouse. Drizzle is like a light rain, not very hard at all. We pretend not to see Freddie and my sister. We read about hummingbirds and learn many facts that are fascinating. That's an even fancier than interesting. The hummingbird is the official bird of our club. They love red flowers. I didn't know that. So far, we have only seen hummingbirds at the zoo, but they are still our favorite birds. You want to know why? They are so petite, that's French for little, and their wings are iridescent. That's a fancy word for shiny. How petite is a hummingbird? Without feathers, most are the size of a bumblebee. Wow, that's tiny. They can take a bath in a leaf. A nest is the size of a walnut shell. And their eggs are smaller than jelly beans. Wow, that's really interesting. They flap their wings up to 200 times a second. Amazing. They don't hum. A humming sound comes from their wings beating so fast. There's the hummingbird on the red flower. Rule number 6. We don't pull leaves off of trees. Trees need them to make food. The rain seems to be stopping, but we wear our raincoats anyway, because we look so chic. That's a fancy word for fashionable. Goody, the storm last night has knocked off leaves for us to collect. I am practically a leaf expert. Trees whose leaves fall off are called deciduous. I love that fancy word almost as much as chrysalis. See the pages on butterflies. I showed it to you already. All the leaves come from our trees in our backyard. Ginkgo leaves look like fans. Mrs. Devine makes tea from the fruit. There's different kinds. This is the ginkgo leaf. That looks like a maple leaf. Honey locust and an elm. Cool. Trees with leaves that don't fall off are called evergreens. Evergreen? Get it? The leaves look like needles. Christmas trees are evergreens. Don't you love their wonderful aroma? That's a fancy word for smell. Evergreens all have pine cones. Once I painted a big one in gold and glued on glitter to a pine cone. Bree and I hear Freddie and my sister calling us. They found something exciting. Wow, they have found a baby robin that has fallen from its nest. Uh-oh. There's the baby robins right there. We can see the nest. The mother robin must be frantic. That's a fancy word for very, very worried. We called my mom, and she knows just what to do. She puts the baby back in its nest. Now it is safe. My mother explains that some animals won't care for their babies after a person has touched it. But birds aren't like that. Hooray for Mommy! My sister and Freddie jump up and down, up and down. Please, can't we join the club now? Even though they broke some club rules, they did find the baby robin, which is the most exciting thing we observed. So Bree and I take a vote. There's the mommy putting the bird back in its nest, and Bree and Nancy and Freddie and little sister. What do we think the vote's going to be? Are they going to allow Freddie and her little sister in? Shall we find out? It is unanimous. We both vote yes. We make official cards for the new members, just like us. They are now Explore Extraordinaires. And they're so happy. Yeah. You guys can build a clubhouse yourself. You guys can do it inside. You can do it outside. Daddy can help you outside. And you can make it whatever you want and go exploring just like Fancy Nancy. Hope you enjoyed our story today. I love you all.